Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. I am Rob Bizzle, Chairman of the North Carolina Marine Fisheries Commission, and would like to welcome you to our public comment session, where you have a unique opportunity to, on the record, give comments in regards to the Marine Fishery Commission's management of the state's public trust estuarine and marine resources. I ask you to limit your comments to 3 minutes. You will be reminded when you have approximately 30 seconds left. Please state if you represent any group. If you address the commission tonight, you will not be allowed to do so tomorrow morning. Remember, this is a time to share a concern or gather information, not to be confrontational. All right, got kind of a short list tonight. First up is Maurice, is that Manus? Yes, sir. Come right on up, sir. Followed by John Rich.
How are y'all tonight? I'm just here to try to understand what's going on with the mullet fishing and what y'all actually do, because I've commercial fished all my life, and I've seen these things that happen, these regulations, and sometimes they don't make sense to me. And I know that a lot of people are depending on this fishery, every year, but I don't understand. All of you, I don't understand what is it that you do, because the only thing I ever see is that you close the fisheries down, and I don't see anything that is behind it, because the mullet fishing is substantial. It's plenty of mullets. There's always been mullets. It's not like some of the other fish. But I've also seen problems with the flounders too, why that's been closed and why it's on a moratorium and different things. And a lot of this stuff just don't make sense to me. So I guess what I'm kind of asking is are you here to help the commercial fishermen, or is there some other agenda that I don't know about? Because closing that mullet fishing to all these other fishermen, to me, that was just pure out wrong. I don't know what information you got or who you got it from and how did you get it. I just need you to explain it to me, kind of, just any of you.
We can have staff to talk to you after this session, and they can fill you in on the process.
Well, can't you do it now?
Too long.
Well, maybe we need a little bit longer to listen to what you got to say.
Well, that was 3 minutes.
Well, that's the problem. We don't have enough time to explain what we're trying to say.
We'll take all the time in the world after this meeting with you, sir, that you want.
Okay. Thank you. I found out what I need to know.
Okay, thank you, sir. John Rich, followed by Sterling Singletary.
My name is John Rich, and I thank y'all for doing this. This makes a big difference. About a week ago, 1 week today, I had a bait. I went to South Carolina to gig a flounder, like I used to like to do down here. Down there, 5 fish a day, year-round, 16-inch slot limit. I went on 150 yards of beach just across the border. I gigged 8 flounder in 2 nights with 3 guys. Every fish was 17 to 19 inch. Then I come home, I heard about the mullet thing. And then when I get home, I see where they're bragging. The group that does the striking out here off the beach with the tractors caught more mullet than they've caught in 50 years. We're talking 70,000 pounds of roe mullet. And you're gonna tell me I can't use one for bait. I'm on that point. I watched the guy commercial. I like the guy, he's a nice guy. He's cast net, he's working hard. He fills coolers up with finger mullet and takes them to Maryland and sells them. And now I gotta go buy the fish back. It makes no sense, gentlemen. So anyway, what I did, I didn't know y'all were having this. This was just like Providence. I started a petition. And this petition, I'm one man. And I've been around to the tackle stores. I've been on the beach. I've talked to people. I've got signatures. I'm on the web, the Facebook. I'm on a lot of Facebook groups. I'm just getting started. I have loads of names. I've provided y'all each with a copy of this. I'm telling you right now, I see the problem because I've done a lot of research. And part of the problem is this commission. And it's not your fault, and I know y'all do. It's very hard work. It's complicated. There's a lot of factors involved, and I realize all this. And I'm not taking anybody personally. I'm saying that the format in North Carolina is not working, okay? You got 9 people, 2 at large, 1 scientist, and 6 others. Supposed to be half and half commercial. Okay, there's 300,000 recreational saltwater fishing licenses sold. There's less than 3,000 commercial licenses. Where are we getting our say? This has to stop. And I put on here to reform this commission or abolish it.
30 seconds.
And turn it over to the wildlife people up to 4 miles. That's what we need to do. Y'all probably know better than me. Let's work on it together. Let's make this good. My heritage is gone. I've fished on this beach for 20 years here. I've been on the Outer Banks. I fished since I was 3 years old. And I'm not just gonna sit by and gripe about it anymore. I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna fight for it. I'm going to the governor, I'm going to the senators, and I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna do everything in my means before I die
Time.
to make a positive change. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Okay, Sterling Singletary, followed by Joe Romano. Please, no applause.
Hey, I'm not a public speaker. I have a few things I'd like to say, and I can only speak for the county that I live in. There's other fishermen here that are not in the county that I'm in. I can't speak for that county. I can only speak for the county I know. I have true records for 10 years of every roe mullet that I've caught. Personal experience. When the Marine Patrol officer, Brian Spain, he retired. When he come to Pamlico County, he had 34 full-time commercial fishermen. When he retired, he had 8. That's how much. So 34, when I have to keep my notes right or I'll get sidetracked here. The decline of fishermen's should say, if there's catching too many roe mullets, if 8 can catch what 34 did, there's got to be a lot of fish or supermen are throwing the nets off the side of the boat. So, I mean, the fish is not the issue. And not to mention the fading waterfront. Our working waterfronts are gone. They're nowhere near to be found. And far less fishermen. And the problem is global warming. I have 10 years of documented every catch I've made for 10 years. Every year is 3 days later. Last year, the first catch of fish was made 21st. This year, it made on 24th. Every year is later. So, and just like the shrimp, there's more shrimp than you can pull over the rail. And it ain't got nothing to do with what anything man's done. It's global warming. And the mullets, they're here thicker than they've ever been. And somebody's saying, oh, let's don't catch them. The biggest problem is this state is too hard on its residents. I don't know what we've done as a whole to make everybody hate us, but they do. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Joe Romano, followed by Tyler Barnes.
My name is Joe Romano. I'm a commercial fisherman and one of the owners of Seaview Crab Company in Wilmington. I'm a commercial fisherman, a fishmonger, and a former NC Fisheries advisor. My company employs over 70 folks, and we procure seafood from fishermen and fish houses up and down the coast. I've been coming here to these meetings for 12 plus years, and I've watched as so many of my fellow commercial fishermen and fish market owners have given up on this process. We have a few advocates or even ears at the division or on the MFC, and I can speak for many in saying we feel trapped without a voice. When I served on the Flounder and Blue Crab Committee in 2018, I watched the division quietly take over the messy process of stakeholder debate, motions, and votes. They basically eliminated the democratic process of inquiry, debate, and committee-driven motions. The division now listens to stakeholder discussions and makes their own proposals for fisheries management. This is a dangerous, unchecked power that was never a part of the Fisheries Reform Act. It is a shame that we have so many intelligent, knowledgeable, and creative fishermen in this state that are consistently ignored and written off. We are at a desperate place in the seafood industry. Our necks are always on the chopping block, and we do not have the regulatory consistency needed to invest in the future because of the constant threat of new rules every quarter. For those of you on this committee whose livelihood and work culture are not affected by these votes, try to put yourselves in our shoes. This goes way beyond fisheries politics. When unelected bureaucrats consistently make new, unpopular, draconian emergency rules without clear checks and balances, then food security and our proud commercial fleet suffers unjustly. Since my time is limited, here are my bulleted observations that I believe deserve the attention of this committee. The division has made it illegal to possess frozen striped mullet that were legally caught and purchased this year. This is unconstitutional and egregious, and not to mention sinful, as they are forcing us to dump legally caught seafood in a dumpster. They had the power of discretion but opted for knee-jerk emergency rules that had unintended consequences. This new striped mullet proposal is incredibly biased against fishermen in the southern part of the state. The fishermen in my area came to this committee early this year and made the case, but it fell on deaf ears. Our fishermen have historically caught most of their roe mullet after the proposed closure. The division is supposed to rule fairly and equitably across the state, and this is not it. Like flounder and before it, the striped mullet stock assessment is clearly flawed as it does not measure up to what fishermen are bringing to the dock. I believe that the focus on graphs, charts, algorithms, and extrapolation has blinded many of the division scientists to the boots on the ground reality of high fecundity species. When one fish can lay millions of eggs, it's not humans that control its success. Warming waters and weather events are the leading cause of abundance or scarcity, yet we make it about commercial effort. In addition, the targeting of high fecundity species is different every year. Fish don't operate on a human calendar. It takes dedicated and committed fishermen to chase them year after year, but draconian regulation can eliminate this ability and choke off our best boots-on-the-ground marine scientists, the commercial fishermen. The overregulation of seafood is coming to a head now that we have two state agencies that have competing rules and narratives.
I have to call time on you,
Please
sir.
bring some empathy for the whole seafood industry to your discussion, and remember, more rules and draconian regulation is not the answer. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Tyler Barnes, followed by Zachary Willis.
Good evening. I didn't realize we'd have a section to be able to speak tonight, but the reason I'm sitting here tonight is we grew up in a commercial household. This is historically, we look the week before Thanksgiving. It put food on the table when we were growing up. And there's a lot of guys sitting back here whose kids' Christmases this year are gone. Excuse me, I've got a cold right now. There's a lot of gentlemen in this room and a lot of women as well that have spent years in commercial households, ups, downs, rollovers. You look at us like an agricultural farmer of the water. It comes with its seasons. These men in here, they strive every single day to make as much as they can out of every set they make. And there is no reason for this. This is also affecting our recreational fishermen. So in turn, it affects our local area businesses. To tell a fellow that he can't buy a cast net, that cast net sales are done, look at what it may do to slip corks for the big stores around here, the small guys. This isn't just something that's gonna go, it was a direct finger pointed to our commercial fishermen in the area, but it is splattered across. It's more than that. It's not just about the commercial guys anymore. How many people come to this area year after year after year just to come fishing here? How many folks do you know? Y'all are probably one of them that are from out of this area by hours who still frequent this area because of our aquaculture and what we have swimming in our waters here that is provided to us every single year by Mother Nature. She's either going to give it to us or she's not going to. There's good years, there's bad years. But you're talking about in this room right now alone, hundreds of thousands of dollars in vessels, in motors, in nets. Look at the traditions of hanging a gill net. It's gonna be gone in the next 10 years. You don't have somebody that's younger than 25 years old that wants to own a net hanging business. You don't have a 27-year-old starting up a clam house right now, because the commercial fishermen, there's nothing for them left to make because everything just keeps getting cut shorter, shorter, and shorter. I thank God that my dad has a secondary business, because if he didn't, unfortunately, I would be the one trying to help step up to help pay my parents' bills because of how much money is lost from the commercial industry just this year. I don't know what my folks would do. I really don't. You're talking about one man in a household providing.
30
Like I said,
seconds.
You're talking about Christmas money for folks, end of the year money for folks, Thanksgiving money for folks. This is more about my 1-year-old being able to go fishing with me and enjoying the things that I enjoyed in my past times. Not just about closing something because we're tired of seeing a market or tired of seeing a gill net and pending over to somebody that just wants to rod and reel fish. I hate to see where this is going, but it's going to be barbless hooks like it is in West Virginia when you step up to a creek and there's nothing but a list of what you can't do.
Time.
Time on you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Zachary Willis, followed by Caton Daniels.
How are y'all doing this evening? My name is Zachary Willis. I'm lived here my whole life. Commercial fishing's been a part of my family for years. And to take mullets away from us, I think is an outrage. And I think part of the problem is within this committee here. You know, I know y'all ain't gonna wanna say this, but how many of y'all are actually from North Carolina? How many of y'all actually have a background of our fisheries? It's probably none. Probably slim to none, maybe 10% of y'all. You know, you're reading what's on a piece of paper. Unless you've lived here and you actually know the facts, instead of looking at a piece of paper, comparing a recreational fisherman to a commercial fisherman, which are, what, 10,000 to 1 in our state? You can't have an accurate assessment of the striped mullets, the flounder, the shrimp. I can tell you in the past 2 years, between the shrimping, the flounder gigging, and the mullet fishing, especially the mullet fishing this year. I've caught more mullets this year than I've ever caught in years past. I don't even fish but about a third of the net that Marine Fisheries allows you to fish, and I'm still catching 5,000 to 8,000 pounds of fish a set. Now, I don't know what y'all can do to try to fix this. I think you guys already have your mind made up with this, and this is, you know, you're enjoying this as much as we are. You know, it doesn't look like any of y'all are happy. I don't see one smiling face here. Y'all aren't happy to be here. We're not happy to be here. I think the problem lies with y'all in this committee. I think you have too many out-of-state people here, views that we don't need here. That's not in our commercial fishing industry's best interest. And that's what really scares us, because the commercial fisherman is a small man compared to the recreational fishermen, CCA, the out-of-staters that get to come here in our state and say what they want to say, you know, and make their own rules. And I really would love to see my kids grow up and be able to participate in commercial fishing, whether it's shrimping, striking mullets, or catching a red drum in net. And that's another thing with this mullet thing. You've destroyed the red drum industry in the state of North Carolina by doing this with the mullets, because now we're not allowed to have our 50 pounds or 100 pounds of bycatch to
30
catch
seconds.
our red drum. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Caton Daniels, followed by Robert Salter.
How y'all doing? I'd like to start out, I've said this in here before. If you want to talk about reductions, look behind me and look how many people's got gray hair back there and how many don't. I'm 28 years old, I can count on two hands how many fishermen, full-time fishermen I know that I can count on these two hands. That reduction should be counted for something right there. I think the stock assessment that was done on his mullets is, it needs to be relooked at, redone. There's been more mullets the last 2 years than I can remember in my lifetime. And another thing that ain't been brought up that I've heard is shortening the season. There was one of the main buyers wouldn't even buy mullet this year because they weren't coming down here for 2 weeks of the prime mullet season. So that's one thing that's not been brought up. That's y'all's done by shortening this season. You've affected the market. Anyway, I just think it needs to be looked at again and some changes made. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Robert Salter, followed by Anthony Mendoza.
My name's Robert Salter, and I've been a commercial fisherman for 74 years. And mullets is not the only place they are in North Carolina. Mullets travel from one place to the other. And you're stopping people that needs the money. Suppose they look at you and say, you're gonna work 2 weeks to stop. How you gonna like that? But far as the mullets, they're all over the world, not only here, and they travel from one place to the other. And stopping us from fishing hurts us when we go pay our light bill, groceries, and other things. But it's not right. Just like shrimping, you can't do this, can't do that. But it's not right for people to do other people no such way. And it's time for everybody to learn doing to others as you'd have them do to you. And that's about all I got to say. I want you to think about it.
Thanks, sir. Anthony Mendoza.
Yeah, I've been a commercial fisherman for, I reckon, over 45 years. And all these mullets have been catching. I can understand why they shutting it down. I don't know, maybe because of other people that wasn't natives around here, done bought everything up, land and all that stuff, and putting us out of business, don't like what we're doing. Gill net fishing, I think that's what I feel. And they just, I didn't really get anything put together for my speech, but I just walked in the door. That's how I make my winter time, get through the winter time, is mullet fishing and other fishing than that. And I just hope they even open up earlier than December 31st. So we still can get some more fish to help us out through the winter. And that's about how much I got put together in my head right now. But I hate to see it go away from us this year like that in a short amount of time. So it helps me get through the winter time regardless of anybody what they think. That's my job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Has everybody had the chance to address the commission that carries to tonight? Okay, our public comment session is ended. We'll see y'all here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.